Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our open house. Hello, Ingrid, Camelia, Michael, Enrique. Thank you for joining. Apologize for the stream that was set up to start at 8:20 instead of 9 a.m. Pacific time. So I think some of you got confused by that or frustrated by that. But I hope you're joining. You've joined us now um, because Gani and myself are going to walk you through Nucamp, hopefully answer most of your questions. I'm really pleased to have Gani join me today. Hi, Gani, how are you?
Hi, Ludo. Hi, everyone.
Gani has been an instructor with us and also a career coach. So if you have questions about what happens after you finish learning to code, Gani would actually have plenty of answers for you. Um, and I'm Ludo Farage. I'm the founder and CEO of Nucamp. And so for this webcast, what we like to do is spend the first 30 minutes or so uh, walking you through Nucamp and really giving you a high level overview of what Nucamp is about. Hopefully, that's going to answer many of your questions about, how different are we? What's the experience? What can you expect? And then the last 30 minutes, so around 9:30 Pacific time, we'll actually go through your questions. So we'll go through the questions on Facebook. We'll go through the questions on YouTube as well. So type them. You can start to type your questions at any time during this presentation, and we'll get to those in about 30 minutes now. So with that, let's get started. So very first question, obviously, is what is Nucamp? Well, I think the top line answer you know already. We are a coding bootcamp, but we like to also mention how different we are in our approach. We are primarily driven by a social mission to really give everyone the opportunity to learn to code, no matter where you live, no matter, I would say, your social status, and really give everyone an opportunity to get a career in that new digital economy. And you probably realize what I mean by that. And it starts with being the most affordable coding bootcamp out there. With our tuition being less than $2,000, many actually look at it and wonder, okay, is that too good to be true? And then it takes a while to realize that it's not. But we really are focusing on providing the best education possible under $2,000. And we also are local. That's changing a little bit with COVID, but without COVID or before COVID, we were available in 35 cities throughout the US. Students were meeting in person on Saturdays, and we really hope to get back to that in the fall, hopefully. You should know as well that we are now part of the top 3 coding bootcamps in the US, and we are actually the number 1 rated in the top 10. So if you look at the top 10 on Course Report, we have the best rating of all, with more than 900 reviews right now. And I have to say the reviews are not paid. We don't tell students what to say, so it's pretty cool. Oh, okay. So that slide, I know I had just updated that slide. So you're going to have a slide that's broken in terms of build up. Um, Let me see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to fix it. So let's do it like that. Okay. So how should you think about Nucamp compared to what the other options that you have out there? If you look so let's see, my right hand side of the slide, you probably are considering the online bootcamps, and you should. It's actually where you probably want to start. And I'm talking about everything you have available to you online. That's very affordable, like super cheap, like $10 for a 200-hour course on Udemy, for example. And it's a fantastic way to get started because there's no risk involved. You can do that from your house. You don't have to quit your job. And you have actually access to great quality content. Like there's a ton of really good instructors online that are recording that videos on Coursera, YouTube, Udemy, I mean, you name it. Plenty of those. The challenge though, and actually why most people can't really make it through just online is you have very little support. And I know there are people suggesting that you can learn on your own. You can be a self-taught coder, and that's true. But what they forget to say is there has been data and there's been research that proves that only 3% of people who actually start that way actually accomplish their goal. It takes a certain personality. It takes a certain set of conditions for someone to be able to commit themselves to a 6 months, 9 month effort on their own with limited support out there. And so, fantastic way to get started. And you should, like everyone should get started online, before actually signing up to a coding bootcamp. But then very quickly, you're going to realize that you're missing the structure, the support that other coding bootcamps are offering. And I'll say, by the way, more than 50% of our students started there, right? So that's a good thing. On the other end of the spectrum, you have what I will call the traditional coding bootcamps. And by traditional, what I mean is the coding bootcamps that are really focused on providing an immersive in-person experience. So think about really very much traditional education. There's a campus in your city. There's full-time staff, full-time instructors. You're going to be there from 8 a.m. to sometimes 9 p.m. And you're going to learn full-time for 3-4 months. It's meant to be very immersive. It's meant to be intense, and it's a good thing. And so many of you are considering that approach as well because of what it really gives you in terms of experience. And it could be actually a great experience. The challenge that we find is it's also very risky for many people out there to consider, for example, quitting your job if you already have one. It may not be a job that you like, but it could be a job that pays the bills. And so are you going to quit your job, take on a loan? Because obviously those bootcamps are quite expensive. So either a loan or an ISA, and make a bet that 4 months later, you're going to get back on your feet and pay the bills that pretty much have accumulated for the time. It's also a bet because you may not have one of those bootcamps in your city. And I'm not going to even talk about COVID, the fact that most of those in-person bootcamps are now online. But obviously, that's a big deal because in-person is so much powerful. I would personally have a challenge trading that, especially for the price, to an equivalent online. So maybe you don't have one in your city. Maybe you have one that's like an hour away. And so are you going to commute every day? And then, of course, there's the price, which for in-person full-time is understandable. Like it makes sense to have to pay $10,000, $12,000 for something that is in-person, full-time, and immersive. Not so much for something that's 100% online. And you're supposed to be full-time, but you're the only one full-time. Nobody else is. So that's a great opportunity if you can afford it, if you can afford the cost, if you can afford the risk. And so what we did is we really looked at those two models, online bootcamps and traditional bootcamps, and really kind of reinvented the experience to be part-time and also in person before COVID, and really bring the best of both worlds. So it's as affordable as online, but also immersive like traditional bootcamps. You are part of a real classroom with real students throughout your journey. You stay motivated, you have workshops. And so that's very much what Nucamp is. It's a hybrid model, and it's something that really brings both worlds together. I see a ton of questions here from Durga, Michael, Ryan. We'll get to those in about 20 minutes now. So don't worry, we'll actually cover those. One from David here. So I'm seeing them, and we'll get to that in about 20 minutes. Okay, so a little bit of history. We were created in 2017. We've actually enrolled many students. We've delivered tons of bootcamps already. We have great expertise and experience. We are evolving the content of our bootcamp as new technologies pop up. So all of that to say that even though we may not have a brand recognition that's as high as, for example, a Flatiron or competitors, we've been around long enough that you can trust, that pretty much we know what you're doing. And as I mentioned, we are actually number one rated in the top 10 with a 4.78 and more than 900 reviews. And overall, number three in ranks right now in the US. So I thought that had to be said. Okay, so what's the path? It's a very long path actually, and it's a very rich path. If you add up that path together, you're going to do 4 weeks in web developments fundamentals. Then let's say you go with the full stack, which includes front end. That's another 22 weeks. So we're up to 26 weeks now. And if you do the career development services, and actually everyone are invited to do them, that's another 6 weeks. So 32 weeks total from beginning to end. And so we'll get to that in more details in a minute, but that's very much the path that we offer you. You can start, but you don't have to start with us for the web development fundamentals. You can learn that on your own. You'll choose between front end or full stack, knowing that full stack includes front end. And so you shouldn't sign up for both, obviously. And then the career development services, we'll get to that also with Kani, and who actually he's one of our coaches. So you'll have tons of insights into that. As I mentioned, our prices are pretty affordable. We have 3 main programs plus the career services. We'll actually we'll give you all those dates and details. Gani will actually walk you through what each bootcamp includes in terms of technologies. So what we want to say as well is we've introduced payment options that are becoming more and more popular. And can you hear me okay? Like I'm seeing network connection is at 0 to 10. I'm hoping they can hear me okay.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. I'm back up.
Yep, you can hear
Interesting.
me fine.
Okay. So you can pay interest-free payments, like 4 or 5 monthly payments. That's what we call the best deal. Part of our fair student agreement as well are a immediate repayment option where you're going to pay in 12 to 18 months, or you could actually just pay $8 or $10 a month while learning, and then pay the remainder of your tuition after that in 12 to 18 month payments. And that option is, of course, very popular because that really allows you to not carry the burden of the tuition payment until you really kind of graduate. So that's something that's available out there. We really built a fair student agreement in response to the income share agreement, based on our belief that education, first and foremost, needs to be affordable, not more expensive. But while also recognizing that people need really opportunities to enroll while not carrying the burden of the tuition straight away. And so that's really something that we offer through the Fair Student Agreement. The experience overall is going to be a weekly rhythm. You're going to learn online first with your students, with other students in your class, with your instructor, but you're going to do that at your own pace, so that if you have 9 to 5 jobs, it works. If you work in shifts, it can work as well. We don't set times during the week. However, on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in your time zone, we ask that you attend a live session with your instructor. And during that session, this is really when you're going to bring all your learnings to bear. You're going to really apply that to an assignment that's going to be a challenging one. It's going to really have you think critically about what you've learned that week. And then it's a rinse and repeat. Every week, we'll actually go through that same cycle. We wouldn't have so many reviews and we wouldn't have so many positive reviews without our instructors. And Gani being one of them, I will always thank them for that. Our instructors are with Nucamp as a part-time gig. It's a side gig for them. They are almost all employed in the industry, and they're only taking time out of their busy schedule or their holidays or what they could do actually on the side to just give back to the community. And so we really are very appreciative of the quality of engagement and the quality of those instructors that are really there for you because they want to give back, because they are passionate about their job, about being a developer and helping others join the industry. It's really interesting to see how many reviews online from students really highlight that. So it's not just me saying it. I will say it's also students very much being appreciative of having access to all those instructors. And so they're going to be local to your community when we get back to in person. And they come with diverse backgrounds as well. Some are working in Fortune 500, some are freelancing, some are working in a startup, some are working in government. And so you'll have access to all those different experiences and coaching, I will say, in terms of what you could expect next. All right, that was pretty much my part. So now, Gani, thank you again for joining, and I'll leave it to you.
Okay, thanks, Ludo. Thank you. So let's talk about becoming a web developer or how to even become a web developer. So within the bootcamp, you will learn JavaScript, which is one of the #1 web development languages, 5 years in a row. So back in 2015, when the React and Node kind of came up with their big push for their newer version, that's where the whole kick kind of started with the JavaScript. So back in the day, JavaScript was your more of a front end development technology, and back in 2009 is when we first got used to React, Node, and it was later towards 2014, 2015 when the JavaScript fully became a actual language, front end, back end, all in one. And a lot of developers already use JavaScript for many, many years. So it was a big thing. So average salary for a junior web developer, I want to say starting at 70, it could be slightly lower or slightly higher depending on your previous skill set that you have. So for example, if you are currently working as a manager at a Hyatt or some sort of a hotel, and you want to work for a company that works strictly with hotels or developing something for hotels, you have that knowledge already. So they might pay you more than what they would pay a junior web developer. Okay, so it totally depends on your previous work experience as well. So we do have a blog article on Nucamp site that you could check out, and that could give you more details in regards to that. Lulu, can you go to the next slide, please? Thanks. So let's talk about a curriculum. So the path that we take at Nucamp. So first class is the fundamentals class. Now there is a test for it. You can test out of it and then go straight to the bootstrap class, the second class. So web development fundamentals kind of only teaches you HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, basically to get your feet wet. And to also tell you or even kind of like ask you a question, is it really for me or is it really for you? At that point, you can decide, hey, I do want to continue. I am getting these concepts really easily, and I think this is for me, okay? At that point, you can go to the next level, which is the Bootstrap class. Bootstrap is a framework, very popular. It's been used for, I want to say, 12, 13 years now. It's also known as Twitter Bootstrap. Twitter was the first one who created this and started using it for quite some time. Very popular. They have a very, very, very robust documentation when it comes to Bootstrap. So we don't have to write our own CSS and JavaScript. That framework kind of provides us some of that information for us. We can make changes as you please. So that's where your first class comes in handy. You need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to learn Bootstrap. And from there, we'll take you into React. So React is your front end. You are going to learn more about JavaScript library, how to code faster. That's one of the big things that React offers, a faster code pace. So you have all these different packages available to you, different modules available to you that you can download and code faster. And then we have React Native, which is more of a um, development and then deploying it to stores like Google Play Store and iOS stores. You can deploy it to both of the stores using React Native. Okay, so not necessarily your language changes, but you're learning a slightly different framework, which will actually help you deploy to those stores. And then last, we get into Node, which is your backend development course. We are going to learn Express. We're going to learn MongoDB, and then Node. So in a full 5 courses, we are learning a stack called MERN stack. M stands for MongoDB, E stands for Express, R stands for React, and N stands for Node. It's a full MERN stack, full stack MERN. So if you were to go with just front end, we will stop at React Native. But if you were to do full stack, where you're also learning backend, you will come to Node as well. Okay, so that's 5 courses. Every course is 5 weeks except the web development fundamentals. That's a 4-week course. So within 24, is it 24 or 26? I think they get a few weeks of break. Lodo is 26 weeks total.
Um, it's yeah, it's 22 weeks. So actually, you have React Native and Node are 4 weeks long, and then there's a week break in between.
Okay, got it, got it. So yeah, between 22 weeks to 24, including your to get out uh, in 24 weeks. So can you go to the next slide, please? All right, so let's talk about some of our projects. So within your learning experience of 5 courses, you're going to work on a lot of projects. We have our usual project throughout the week, and then we always work on a project in Saturday class. So the Saturday class covers everything that you have learned from Sunday all the way to Friday, and we apply that over to Saturday. There are a few extra things that you will learn on Saturday's class. It will require you to do some research, look up some new concepts or whatnot. And then it's an instructor-led class, so instructor is there for you to walk you through every single thing. So that's one of the projects that we do Saturday. So every Saturday is a new project, and then you have a project that you work on during the week. Actually, multiple projects, multiple exercises that you work on throughout the week. And then we overall work on a big project. So we start with Bootstrap and take it all the way to Node. So all well, if you want to stop before Node for front end, that's okay. But then if you are going all the way to full stack, you're taking that project all the way through with you and learning, creating a large project. So we have a bunch of these projects. Luda, can you show us a few projects, please? Now these projects are done by students. So
We can certainly do that. Yeah, so if you go to our YouTube, and many of you watching this webcast are already on YouTube, we have on our channel, and by the way, subscribe to our channel if you can. We have a student project playlist, and we keep adding to it. Once actually students graduate, they share their projects with us. And so if you go there, you'll see plenty of those projects. This one is a strikingly beautiful website. I will say you can see how the background actually shades into the menu at the top. Really interesting to see. Some projects are front end heavy, like this one. Some others actually are going to spend more time on the mobile version of the project, which is also pretty interesting. What Gani was just mentioning with React Native, so you're going to see more of that as well. Some projects are really focusing, I would say, on the back end. This one is in particularly interesting as well. It has a, I would say, lightweight front end experience. It's a chessboard, but really a lot of the work and a lot of the code is in the back end on how to connect two players together and having them play over the internet using a node library called sockets. And so it was really exciting to see that project coming to life. And actually, let me show you how poof poof how the real time actually players are actually working together. So that's another one. I mean, you'll find tons. You'll find projects that are really beautiful to the eye. Let me actually find that the one. Yeah, there you go. So panoramic HR. This one was so good, so well crafted, and we showed it during the graduation ceremony that other students were asking Casey if he was going to hire for his startup, because you could tell there was a lot of thoughts, a lot of ingenuity, I will say, in building that UI. It felt slick. It felt really good. So yeah, I mean, go on the website, check out their student playlist to get a sense of the type of projects that have been created in the past. Back to you, Gani.
Thanks, Ludo. Okay, great. So that was one of the projects or the project that you take throughout your course. So let's talk about the schedule. So we have a class starting. So we always have classes starting at every month. So if the boot camp is full, the next one starts in 5 weeks later. So we do suggest that you register within your city, even though the classes are online right now. Once they're available in person, we do have classes in person as well. The good thing with the Nucamp is that the classes are only 12 students max. Per class is 12 students max. So you do have that one-on-one instructor time. So we're not doing like 300 students per class, where an instructor probably won't even remember your name. So having that 12 students is definitely a good mix. So register within your city. So this way, once we offer classes in person, you can always transfer to be in person rather than online. And most likely you will see the same students in your class within your city. So we always suggest doing that. But let's say if you're not a morning person and you are East Coast, you can schedule for a class in Pacific time. So this way you have 3 hours, from 9, your class is starting at 12 or noon. So you have plenty of time to catch up, relax, perhaps, put your kids in like a daycare or something, whatever you need to do. So you have time to, catch up. So we don't necessarily, say don't schedule for a particular, time zone. So I know a lot of students usually do that to make sure they have extra time. Otherwise, classes do start on Saturday 9 to 12 or 9 to 1. It's a 4-hour instructor-led class. Um, um, so the early bird deadline is on Monday, April 12th. So there are a few courses that are still available that are not full. So if you notice that some only have 2 seats left, 5 seats left, and so on and so forth, you can see those metrics when you go to nucamp.pro website. Ludo, you go next slide. All right, so let's talk about scholarships. So there are some scholarships that are available to students. Scholarships kind of work in a manner where we do have a budget, 50,000 budget available. So this is what that's available right now for these scholarships. So Best Buy Bounce Back was one of our, I want to say, one of the more famous scholarships out there. It's for Best Buy employees that were laid off recently. So if they want to start a new career, that's a scholarship for them. New You is another scholarship that we offer. If you were recently denied by a student loan, you can apply for that a scholarship. So we also offer a military veterans scholarship, or if you're an active duty member, Warrior Rising is another scholarship for that. And then also, if you were impacted by COVID-19, we have another scholarship for you, which is Reskill America. So if you were to apply online, you can chat with our representative online. They can answer any questions you have. If you want to apply for a particular scholarship, you can go ahead and do that from our website. Um, Ludo, anything else you want to add, or
No, no, that's pretty much it. We ask that you register first, and then we apply the scholarship right after that. So just something to be conscious about.
okay, great. All right. So next thing is our graduation metrics. So this metrics I believe is one of the very important ones when it comes to applying or looking at any school. Um, a lot of times, you have a high rate of students joining, but not everyone is graduating. So graduation rate is at 75% for Nucamp. Um, Again, also since it's a not really expensive program, a lot of students join just to check to see if it is going to be something for them. So that is still a really good graduation rate. Our employment rate after students graduate within 3 months, they get a job. 78% of our graduates they get employed within 3 months. Um, 55% of our students have tried online boot camps before. A lot of my current students are telling me that they went through some classes on Udemy or some other platforms where they actually learned a little bit, but then the structure was missing. So with Nucamp, they're getting that structure, so they're quite happy about that. As far as the men to women ratio, 31 students are I have five women in my class out of five and six. So it's a close, almost 50%. So let's talk about career services. So this is I can't call it new anymore. It's been going on for almost 4 months now. Career service is something that we offer now after you graduate. There is no separate cost for that, right? As of now, I don't, just want to make sure we knew. There's no particular, set time or how long you can get career services for. There's no limitation on how many times you can speak with a career services advisor. So once you graduate, you will be given a dedicated career service advisor. You can work with your career services coach and work on your LinkedIn profile, your resume, how to apply for jobs, and some of the cool things that I kind of go through as a career coach. I definitely go through how to even qualify yourself for a particular position. So nowadays, when you apply for a job, it might have like 15, 20 bullet points. What to look for, before you can say, okay, well, I think that I qualify for this particular position. So qualification is one thing, right? We might see like thousands of jobs out there, but most of the times you don't really want to just apply for 1,000 jobs and maybe hear from one particular job. You rather apply for 6 jobs and hear from all 6. Quantity over quality is something that definitely I go through. So I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions. We'll answer questions soon enough. So after you graduate, career services is open to you, and you can schedule a time with your career services advisor. And yeah, that's pretty much it for career services. Lulu, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I
Graduates.
mean, just in the following up on the career services, we are also now starting to spend a little bit in marketing and asking really all those graduates that found a job to come to us and share their stories. And so we have a handful now published, where we're actually publishing one a week. If you're in our mailing list, you may actually see those emails coming to you. And so we're really starting to spend time and effort documenting all those stories. And it's really enlightening to see the change that people actually have been able to go through and enjoying. Um, when you're a student, you'll join the job search channel on our Slack, and it's going to be also very encouraging to see every week someone saying, "Hey, just I got a job, I found a job." So that's very exciting to share. So yeah, check them out. It's on the nucamp.co/new careers. And we are producing one every week. All right. Gani, time for the Q&A. So as I mentioned, you can ask your question online, either in Facebook if you're watching us from Facebook or on YouTube. And let me now switch it over to that. So, Gani, I will take the first question. And if you see one that you want to answer, tell me actually the timestamp, so I can actually find it and show it on the screen, just like I'm doing right now from Justin. So, a question from Justin. C Sharp and .NET are very popular in the Midwest. What is the advantage of learning React, MongoDB over these languages? It's a great question because the advantage is not really clear. I don't know that you can say there's an advantage or a disadvantage. What I will say is both. I mean, C Sharp and .NET are very popular across the US. These are Microsoft proprietary languages and frameworks, but they are still very popular given how people trust Microsoft. JavaScript is not proprietary. Neither is React or MongoDB. So you'll have actually more companies potentially embracing them because there's no what we call vendor lock-in. But overall, I will say you want to learn a language, and then you want to learn a new one, and then you want to learn another one, considering the situation. So there's no really an advantage in learning one versus the other. If the job requires it, if the opportunity requires it, learning at least one language will enable you to pick up another one pretty quickly. And so start with one. And it could be C Sharp .NET, or it could be JavaScript and React and MongoDB. Um, what I will say though is actually when I think about it, C Sharp and .NET are mainly backend languages. They don't deal with the front end, especially web front end. Like you can't design a website using C Sharp. Just you cannot. JavaScript you can. So I would say maybe that's the advantage. Now that I think of it, that could be the one advantage that JavaScript has over C Sharp and .NET. But everything else really stands. You want to learn one, and you want to be open to learning another one after that.
Yeah, just to
Any?
echo what you said,
Yeah,
Ludo. .NET is one of the languages that you can use C Sharp or Visual Basics with it. You do need a platform like Visual Studio, I think the 2018 or 2019 or whatnot, to code within it. But they're really separate. They're quite famous, but there's a whole separate market for that, and then there's a lot of developers already with those languages. So,
great.
yeah. All right.
Danny, do
So
you see one that you would like to pick up?
yeah, absolutely. So there's a question about the California Institute of Arts and Technology, asking to compare or provide a comparison. Um, I think it's the same student that is asking the question. Michael, I think he asked multiple times, and he said that he could do the same exact course, 6.5 months, for 15K and over through federal aid. Yep. Lula, you want to take that one?
Oh, sure. I thought you were going to go through it. Either
Yeah.
way.
The only thing I was going to say, I'm sure the curriculum is going to be similar because obviously there's going to be, you're going to teach the same material, right? We might have different exercises than them. The only big difference will be that 15K versus 2K, right? So with 2K you can pay now, 15K you can pay later on, which is going to be like about 30K or so. You try to pay for it. So 15K doesn't mean that it's going to be 15K, through a loan when you try to pay for it. Do you want to add something? Ludo?
No, I mean that's it's pretty hard to. I mean, I'm not familiar with myself with what the California Institute of Arts is doing, but yeah, I mean, price is always a very strong factor in your decision making. So consider that, and I would say read all the reviews you can online. I mean, don't take our word for it. Um, Research as much as possible. Reach out to instructors. Reach out to previous students. Check really what the experience is about, and make your decision then. I think also Michael asked about are we I saw a question. Um are we qualified or are we accredited? So we are. There we go. Are you also accredited? We actually, it's very interesting. In the state of California, the Board of Education, so the legal entity that really accredits boot camps, have a rule that if you are under 2,500, you are accredited by exception, because you're not expensive enough to actually go through the vetting, the blah blah blah. So we are accredited in Washington. We are accredited in Texas. We're actually in the process of being accredited in many states where we operate, and we are kind of accredited in California because we're not expensive enough. And they're like, yeah, you're good. You're not you're not like the other ones. You're not asking for tens of thousands, so you're good. So that's pretty much what's happening over there. Um, Let me
Okay.
go back. Yeah,
There's a question about are we considering starting other boot camps rather than just MERNStack?
yeah. What is the timestamp for that one? Let me put it
1203. 1203 AM.
12:03. Yes. Oh, it's funny. Oh, you have different timestamp that I have. Oh, interesting. I don't see 12:03. Anyway, okay, so that's not going to work through that. So we are thinking about Python. We are actually in the process of building a Python curriculum. It's going to be available hopefully in the fall as well. And so, yeah, we'll have that. It's going to be very exciting because it's going to round everything else as well. But don't wait for it. Sign up today if you want to get started. I will say. Let me put another question from Hihab Mustafa on Facebook. Hey, I just registered. My start date is April 19th. Can I get the material early to get a head start? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. You can't really. We really want you to start with your classmates, with your instructor at the same time, because that's really the value. If you start all together, if you go through the same experiences together, you're going to really ask the same questions. You're going to maybe find the same things challenging, and you're going to work together with your instructor to solve for those. So we actually don't like very much when you get ahead and meaning everybody is behind, and there's kind of a disconnect then. April 19th is the date. That's when you'll get all the material and you'll be able to then start with everyone else.
All right, wonderful. How is the new camp for students that do not want career shifts? Do you get students that just want to build SaaS in their spare time? So that's a good question. If you do not want a career shift, I think you want to probably learn on your own. If you just want to learn SaaS, we do have SaaS that we go through, but it's for I want to say beginners to intermediate. So you are learning how to code with SaaS. You're learning tricks and things about SaaS and what to do, what not to do, etc., etc. But you will not be a full-on developer with SaaS at that point.
Hey, Gani, I think it's SaaS. So it's actually software as a service. I will think.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's too many acronyms. Yeah, but I think you're right as well. I mean, you can definitely learn online. I mean, everyone should start learning online on their own. If you need more structure, more support, and especially if you're not in it for a career shift, I would say don't go with the $15,000 type of bootcamp. Join us, and we'll give you all the tools to do that. And I would say register to the full stack bootcamp to really also include the back end of it. All right, what else do you see?
do we recommend web development course prior to jumping into full stack? Yes. The fundamentals class is your web development course, is the beginning course. It is recommended if you do not know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It is a good way to put a baseline before you get started with the rest of the classes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what we tell as well is we have a test if you should be taking the web development course. Now, of course, if you If you've never tried development before, you absolutely want to start there, the fundamentals. If you're not sure, if you've done a little bit of online, but you don't know if you're just still qualified to jump directly into full stack, follow that link, url.nucamp.co/test yourself. And what we ask is that you score 85% good answers in order to enroll into our full stack or front end bootcamp. So um, if you're just a beginner, yes, register to the web development fundamental. If you're not and you're wondering, then this test is for you. All right, I saw another one. There we go, from Hohit. So I live in Canada, Toronto, but I can't really join in person. So is there a way that I can do class? So yes, the answer is absolutely resounding yes. Go to our online bootcamp. So we have 3 regional communities. One is online Eastern, the other is online Central, and the last one is online Pacific. So when you go to our website and you select your community, you'll see at the bottom of it that you can choose one of those 3. Pick the one that works for you based on your time zone, or like Gani said, if you want to sleep a little bit later, pick another time zone. And then all your workshops will be online at that moment. So for sure, like, it doesn't matter if we go back to in person or not, because you are in an online community, your workshops will be online. What else do you see, Gani?
Yeah, there are a few other questions. How much, I guess, prepared prep work I need to do for full stack? I took JavaScript and passed with 92%. Um, so I'm not sure the 92%. What is that?
Can you? What is 92%? You see?
So
Is that the
yeah,
one?
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what is the 92%. Is that?
Oh, 92% is the score. I think Razili received when she went through the test, the JavaScript test. So you blew the 85% minimum, I would say, and you got to 92%. So I would say continue to work on your JavaScript fundamentals. I mean, no matter um, how well you've learned, I would say JavaScript is a beast. React use of JavaScript is a beast. So the more time you can spend with JavaScript, the better. And yes, you can definitely register directly to full stack. But if you still want to prep, continue with JavaScript. Continue to learn, the advanced methods of JavaScript, ES5, ES6. Start to look into object-oriented programming as well if you want to really prep yourself for the bootcamp.
Another question I see in regards to how many students found job after they graduated, and how many actually had a college diploma.
Gotcha. Let me see if I can find that one.
Don't have the. It's right after that 92% one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
I don't think we have the metrics for college diploma, but I know after graduating, what was the metrics? Was it
78%? So yeah, we don't have the metric with college diploma, unfortunately. So here's how we are calculating that. So 80%, I think, of our students still are working in their current day job, which is great for them because it still pays the bill. And then especially with COVID, they are moving into tech at their own pace. So we're asking them, are you still employed? And are you using your coding skills after the bootcamp and in your day, in through your employment? Those 2 questions allow us to say that that's to 78%. Those 2 questions, you're still employed, you're using your skills, your coding skills in your employment. And that may not be they've completely changed jobs. Actually, for many, and we encourage them, that may mean, hey, I've started freelancing on the side. And so I'm making more revenue on the side, and I'm looking into getting into the new career. The write-ups that we have are actually people who've done the full jump into the new career. But really, that's the number that we are tracking and how we're tracking it. I have some news on that. We are actually now starting to refresh that number daily. And we are doing that because that number is based on a survey that we send every 3 months for a duration of a year. So any graduates is prompted every 3 months to let us know where they are in their journey, and we're getting answers to that survey every day. And so every day we're going to refresh that number based on those stats, and we're actually going to put more stats out there regarding that.
So your question about should we watch videos first before we do the exercise? Yes, absolutely. You definitely want to watch video first and do the exercise after that. It's in regards to the curriculum. So once you start your curriculum, which will be available to you when the class starts, and as Luda mentioned, we want everyone to be in the same exact pace, and also your instructor be in the same exact pace as well. So basically, watching the video first will actually help you do the exercise faster.
Correct. New laptop recommended. So we have specs online in our FAQ. We recommend a really decent CPU, but very important is the amount of memory. So 8 GB in RAM, random access memory, is required, and then an SSD hard drive. And that's because in React Native, your laptop is really going to turn itself into an emulator and a server, and it's going to be very demanding on your CPU, RAM, and hard drive reads and writes. So check out our FAQ for that.
So your question in regards to how much JavaScript is enough for React, there's no, as long as you understand class functions and closures, you're good to go. But I would definitely test to make sure that you are there. As you can. Luda, there's a question about I applied for the Climb credit and pre-approved. Do I need to submit an application to Nucamp?
Yeah. Okay. Great. I saw that one. And I'm perfect. So, yeah, great question. Let me explain the process with Climb credits. So once you are approved and you've signed the paperwork with Climb, so they're going to say, hey, you're approved. Now sign the paperwork that you're willing to take on that loan. They're going to communicate that information to us. And maximum 24 hours later, you're going to get an email from us. So we'll know that you've been approved. We'll know that you've signed all the paperwork that they ask you to sign. We'll send you an email with a code. That code will be your code to register online. And it's going to pretty much have you only pay the registration fee, which is going to be either $50 or $100. And then everything else will be taken care of. Let me also address one question that I see here. Sorry. Is there any paired programming during the bootcamp? Yes, and actually it goes beyond pair programming. You are in an actual classroom with a maximum of 12 students. So you're working with your classmates during the week on Saturdays. And on Saturdays as well, instructors are grouping people together. So you're going to be maybe 8, 10, 12 during that Saturday, and you're going to be grouped into groups of 3 or 4 to work on the assignment. So absolutely, there is actually much beyond than just paired programming.
Yep, absolutely. Can you miss a Saturday class? Have a wedding to attend? The answer is yes. Is it recommended? No, because we're going through the whole review of the week and talking about how we utilize some things in the real world, and then also there is a workshop assignment. So work with your instructor. If you're going to miss a class, work with your instructor on that.
Great. Let me pick up Epnada. I think I remember your name. I think we exchanged on YouTube. Good to see you here. Are there any sample videos of classes? No, we don't. And we've been thinking about that, kind of having a 1 week type of thing. We didn't do that. And so, no, we don't have sample videos. If you want to test the waters, you can register. And I think if you drop out before the end of the first week, we refund you everything but $30, something like that. So that's kind of a way to test it out if you're not sure. But yeah, we don't have sample videos just yet, and it's in the back burner, but we haven't done something in that space just yet.
Yeah, the weekly sessions are not recorded. Um,
That's right.
so that will be the reason why we don't have any of that stuff.
Yeah, there's that as
Uh,
well.
I just registered today. After listening, I'm understanding that I should have registered for full stack versus front end. Is there a grace period?
You can actually upgrade anytime from front end to full stack and just pay the difference. So that's actually okay. If you just registered today, you can also just cancel. Because you're within 5 days of registration, you'll have 100%. You'll have a 100% refund, and then you can register for full stack if you just want to go with full stack from the beginning. But yeah, the
Good.
upgrade is not free, right? You still have to pay the difference if you go from front end to full stack.
I see a question in regards to in-person classes and online classes. Just so you know, we do. So, Ludo, are we offering any classes right now, or we're not
We're
doing
still
that?
not in person, and it's kind of a little of a wait and see. I mean, there's obviously great developments in the world right now with regard to vaccine, with regard to states reopening. Um, it's quite challenging to make the decision to go back to in person for us, and I think many coding bootcamps, because what if one instructor or one student gets sick, then you have to close again.
Right.
uh, and what is the exposure that I would say that we put ourselves legally if that happens? I mean, all those things are kind of unknown right now. And so for us, our plan is really to shoot for the fall. So after like September, October, for reopening in person. But that's the situation we're in right now. We're looking at the developments. Hopefully it's going to continue to get better, and then we'll be able to offer the in-person again.
Yep. So just to make sure, to answer your question, I think there's a good question about in-person classes. Right now, all the classes are online.
Yeah.
Once the in-person classes are offered, you can find it online, or just ask your instructor. They will know by then. Or you can even you have access to our Slack channel. You should be able to reach out to Ludo straight and just ask, hey, when you're offering in class, um, in-person classes. Okay, so there's you'll have access to everyone. You have access to me. You have access to Ludo. You have access to everyone. Once you are within, once you sign up and you're part of Nucamp.
Julie is asking, "Hey, I have a MacBook. Does that disqualify me in a way to join Nucamp?" No, not at all. We are MacBook, Mac, PC, Linux systems are welcome as well. So all of that works. I would say the only thing that doesn't work is a Chromebook. Uh, I mean, you may get through the first web development fundamentals bootcamp with that, but don't even think about bringing a Chromebook to the full stack or front end bootcamp. That's not going to work. But yeah, MacBook, more than welcome. We have instructions for either Mac or PC. And then we have a special group of enthusiasts if you are a hardcore Linux guy or gal.
Nice. See a question about being the top in nation. Where can we find the
Yeah,
ratings? Where's Karma?
yeah. Go to course report and do the browse school. Well, let me actually show you that. Is it here? There you go. It's here. I have it open. Um, so that's browse school here. All schools. Okay, so Le Wagon is at the top, which with a crazy 4.99 and 2,000 reviews. You have to wonder how real that number is. Like
Ludo, are you sharing your
statistically, oh yeah, there you go. You're right. Sorry for that. So Le Wagon, it's international. It's not in the US, so that one kind of doesn't count. The 4.99 seems really hard to comprehend, statistically speaking. How you get to that? Iron Hack is also it's Madrid based, mostly international. Then you have App Academy 467, Nucamp here 478. And so if you look App Academy, Nucamp, and you look below Springboard. Remember, it's 478 here. So if you go down, I think the top 10 stops here. And then we have she codes, but that's number 11. So that's pretty much the rating that I was talking about. Yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, so Mike, you have a lot of questions in regards to California Institute of Technology. I do suggest that you reach out to us in the chat, and perhaps we can help you um, differentiate between the two. But if you think that 15K versus 2K is not enough for comparison, then I don't know what to tell you. But
Yeah.
15K is still, you're getting a loan. So by the time you pay that, it's going to be either double or more than double.
Hey, I
So,
think we're
so
going to take the last question, Gani. We're actually done. These webcasts kind of really go very fast. Last question from RB. If I like to start my day early, could I join an Eastern cohort from California? Yes. Go to our Eastern community. Again, when you pick your community at the bottom, you have the regional communities. Go there, register there, and you'll start your day at 6 a.m. Good for you. Uh, that's actually great. I mean, uh, I wish I could do that, but yeah, I mean, 6 a.m. If that works for you, then perfect. Go for it. All right. Hey, Gani, thank you so much for joining me again. Thanks everyone for joining as well, asking all those questions. You can continue to ask your questions on our website. We have a chat. Real people are answering there. You can schedule time with an advisor as well. It's at the bottom of our website. You can do that. But with that, we hope, and I hope to see you in our Slack channel pretty soon. And again, Gani, thank you. Have a good day. Take care, everyone.
all right. Thanks. Bye.